This episode of the Jim Stroud Podcast is brought to you by me, actually, my newsletters. I have two to choose from. The first one being Career Intelligence Weekly, which tracks the invisible job market for smarter career decisions. My second newsletter, The Recruiting Life, clarity for what's happening now and next in the world of work. Get more information on both and subscribe to both by going to my website, newsletter.jimstroud.com. That's newsletter.jimstroud.com. Operators are standing by. Recruiters will decide which companies survive the silver talent wave. Companies keep saying they cannot find enough talent, but every day, recruiting systems reject people with 20, 30, even 40 years of experience because someone decided they were overqualified. Now think about that. As of May 2026, American employers were reporting let me check my notes here. 7.6 million open jobs, roughly one opening for every unemployed worker. Healthcare and social assistance alone accounted for more than 1.4 million vacancies. This is not a simple shortage of people. It's a shortage of specific skills, experience, and effective connections between qualified workers and the companies that need them. And while companies struggle to fill critical positions, recruiting systems continue rejecting experienced candidates because someone decided they were overqualified. We are throwing away talent because it looks like too much talent. That is not a candidate problem. That's a recruiting problem. The American workforce is getting older. It is. The pipeline of younger workers is not growing fast enough to replace everyone leaving it. The Economic Policy Institute projects that the U.S.-born labor force will grow by only about 0.5% each year over the next decade. And at the same time, workers age 55 and older are the fastest growing part of the workforce. The market has changed, obviously, but many hiring systems have not. They still operate as if there will always be another wave of young graduates waiting outside. Another class of early career workers ready to start at the bottom, accept the salary, climb the ladder, and replace everyone who retires. That comfortable assumption is cracking, and recruiters are about to find themselves standing directly on the fault line. One of the most expensive words in recruiting today is the word overqualified. A recruiter sees 25 years of experience for a role asking for 10, and the rejection reflex just kicks in. They'll be bored. They'll cost too much. They'll leave as soon as something better appears. They will not want to report to a younger manager. Maybe. Or maybe you just found someone who can solve the problem faster, mentor the people around them, recognize mistakes before they become expensive, and remain with the company longer than the supposedly safer hire. Now, the AARP found that more than 85% of workers aged 50 and older who were hired in June 2024 were still with their employer 1 year later. Among younger hires, the figure was just over 70%. Older professionals also bring deeper leadership experience and larger, more senior professional networks. That is not overqualified. That is underused. Age bias does not always announce itself. It does not walk into the interview wearing a sign. Sometimes it hides inside familiar phrases. Phrases like digital native, recent graduate, high energy environment, culture fit. To a hiring team, those words may sound harmless. To an experienced worker, though, they can sound like a locked door. Researchers found that Researchers found that ageist language in job postings caused a 12 percentage point drop in applicants age 40 and older. Before the interview begins, the company has already narrowed its own talent pool. Then the same company holds a leadership meeting about why critical roles remain open. Make it make sense. This is how bias survives. Not always as an official policy, sometimes as a habit, sometimes as a vague feeling that a candidate does not fit the image in somebody's head. Now, to all of that, add artificial intelligence. AI can help recruiters identify skills faster, yes. It can also reject experienced candidates faster if it learns from hiring data shaped by old assumptions. If yesterday's company favored younger workers, tomorrow's algorithm may learn to do the same thing at scale. The bias does not disappear, it just gets automated. That's why skills first hiring has to mean more than removing degree requirements from a job posting. It means judging people by what they can do, not when they graduated, whether their career path looks neat or whether their resume fits a familiar pattern. LinkedIn estimates that skills first hiring can expand the candidate pool for Generation X workers by more than 8 times. The Society of Human Resource Management reports that 90% of organizations using skills first recruiting say it produces better hires. The business case is sitting right here. It's sitting right there. But recruiters have to be willing to see it. That means that the recruiter of the future cannot be an order taker. When a hiring manager says too experienced, the recruiter has to ask, too experienced for what? When someone says not a culture fit, the recruiter has to ask what that actually means. When a candidate is rejected because they want too much money, the recruiter should find out what the candidate wants instead of inventing the answer for them. And when a full-time role is not the right fit, the conversation should not automatically end. Fractional work, the project assignments, advisory positions, corporate alumni networks, boomerang hires, and phased retirement can give companies access to expertise without forcing every candidate into the same old employment box. The goal is not always permanent headcount. Sometimes the real goal is access to judgment. Recruiting metrics, they got to change too. Time to fill and cost per hire matter. Yes, they do. But speed can hide bad decisions. Companies should also ask how quickly a new hire became productive. Whether that person protected critical knowledge, whether they strengthened the team, whether they mentored less experienced employees, whether a recruiter moved an experienced internal worker into a better role before that person walked out the door. Those are the outcomes that would matter in a tightening labor market. The demographics are not negotiable. The workforce is aging. The supply of younger workers is slowing. Millions of experienced professionals are looking for meaningful ways to keep contributing. The companies that win will not simply be the ones with the loudest employer brand or the flashiest recruiting technology. They will be the ones whose recruiters can recognize value where outdated systems see risk. 30 years of experience is not a red flag. It's 30 years of mistakes already survived, 30 years of problems already solved, 30 years of relationships already built, and 30 years of judgment earned the hard way. The silver talent wave is coming, people, whether companies are ready for it or not. Some recruiters will keep guarding the old gate, filtering out the people their organizations need most. Others will challenge the assumptions, open the door, and turn experience into a competitive advantage. And that very thing may decide which companies ride the wave and which ones get buried beneath it. You have been listening to the Jim Stroud Podcast, a proud member of the Purple Acorn Network. If you like what you heard, hate what you heard or don't know what you just heard, I want to know about it. Email your questions and comments to podcast@jimstroud.com. That's podcast@jimstroud.com. Do it now. Operators are standing by. Well, that's it for now. I'll be back later, right here, with a brand new episode. So until then, bye-bye.